It's Saturday afternoon. You're sitting on the couch, trying to watch a movie, but a voice in the back of your head is getting louder. It's telling you that you should be doing something else, studying, working, producing. Even a full vacation rarely provides a reset. You step away from your desk for a week, only to return with a heavy, lingering exhaustion that physical rest doesn't seem to touch. The philosopher Byung-Chul Han argues that this isn't a personal failing, but a symptom of the era. He calls our current state the burnout society, a culture where the collective psyche is essentially making itself sick. For most of human history, survival was threatened by external biological forces. We built our civilizations by fighting off viral and bacterial pandemics, from the plague to the discovery of antibiotics. But Han observes that the defining threats of the 21st century are different. We have entered the age of neural pathologies, defined by widespread burnout, ADHD, and depression. This exhaustion is particularly difficult to escape because it's no longer coming from an external source. We have traded the pressure of outside discipline for a much more dangerous illusion of absolute freedom. To see how this worked, we have to look at the world of the 1970s. Michel Foucault described that era as a disciplinary society. This world was organized around external obedience. Power was visible, enforced through physical architecture, like high walls, locked gates, and watchtowers that ensured everyone stayed in their place. That model applied to every institution. Factories, schools, and offices all operated on the authority of the word no. You followed the rules because a literal overseer demanded it. But that control had a clear boundary. When a worker clocked out at 6 p.m. and walked through the gates, the surveillance stopped. The power dynamic paused, leaving the worker with protected time to actually rest. Today, those physical walls have largely disappeared. Han argues we have moved into the achievement society, where the overseer has been replaced by the individual's own drive. The external threat of punishment has been replaced by the internal mantra of, yes, I can. We live in a culture of toxic positivity that demands constant self-improvement and endless progress. By removing the external boss, we didn't actually find freedom. We simply internalized the pressure, becoming our own most relentless taskmasters. This is the psychological trap of modern work. Because nobody is forcing us to stay late or check our phones, we convince ourselves that our relentless hustle is a form of self-actualization. You see it when a student skips a class to study for a different one, or when a freelancer works through the night because they are now their own CEO. We exploit ourselves more effectively than any boss ever could. This drive creates a state of hyper-attention. Our focus becomes fractured across a dozen simultaneous tasks, checking metrics, answering emails, and editing our public image. The human brain eventually hits a ceiling. When the psychological system can no longer process the pressure of infinite self-optimization, it collapses, a state Han describes as a neural infarction. In the era of the factory, you could recover from physical tiredness with sleep, but modern burnout is structural. It is a permanent exhaustion that comes from being unable to ever truly clock out from your own ambitions. This is the ultimate victory for a capitalist system. It produces a workforce that optimizes itself 24 hours a day without resistance, even when that pace becomes fatal to the individual. This relentless achievement eventually leads to profound isolation. We begin to treat every social gathering as a performance or a networking opportunity, turning even our friendships into a form of work. Han's antidote to this cycle is a return to the power of no. Not the no of a boss, but a personal refusal to engage with every new stimulus or demand for productivity. He advocates for deep boredom. This is the quiet threshold where the pressure to perform finally lifts, allowing the mind the space it needs for true creativity and genuine mental recovery. Han calls this the pedagogy of looking. It is the practice of training the mind to observe the world without immediately trying to extract value, content, or profit from the experience. Reclaiming our autonomy means letting hobbies be useless again. It means watching a movie for the sake of the story, rather than watching it just to have cultural leverage during award season. Our world is designed to demand constant speed and perpetual performance. In that environment, making the deliberate choice to sit still and do absolutely nothing becomes a radical act of self-preservation.